Budgeting Basics, Part 3 of 4 Financial Literacy Series. Welcome to the Cascadia chapter of Credit Union's Financial Literacy Series. Who is the Cascadia chapter of Credit Unions? We are one of many credit union collaboratives with the focus of empowering members, credit union professionals, and the community. The goal of this financial literacy series is to provide key information to the public. The series includes the topics of fraud and prevention, credit building, and loans and lending 101. Today we'll focus on part 3, budgeting basics. I am Danny McGuire from Unitas Community Credit Union.
And I'm Morgan Meisner from Advantage Credit Union.
Who needs a budget and why? Some would say those who struggle with money or don't have much money are the only ones that need a budget. But the real answer to the question is anyone and everyone. A budget is a tool to help you achieve your financial goals, whether you're getting your first job or planning for your retirement. If you don't have a budget, how will you know if you're on track to make it to your goal? Some benefits of having a budget are knowing where your money is going, preventing overdraft fees, and it's also a great way to making sure you're hitting your financial goals. Morgan, what does goal setting mean to you?
I love goal setting. One of my favorite phrases is, what you focus on, you win at. I typically write down my financial goals and prioritize them, then I attack them one at a time. I actually have a small notebook that I keep them in, and it's fun to look back at and see what I've been able to accomplish.
Goals are great to achieve. It just provides such a positive feeling. I remember when I paid off my first auto loan a year early, I was so proud and so excited. But I also remember a time when I went on a vacation and I didn't have a budget ahead of time. So I ended up using my credit card too much and it took several months to pay off. I told myself I'd never do that again. Here are some additional common goals.
So some goals would be an emergency fund. This could be $1,000 or a 6-month fully funded emergency fund. About 2/3 of the United States citizens do not even have $1,000 in their savings, so that one's very important. We also have new car or car repairs, a home purchase, vacation or travel, medical expenses, replacing broken or old appliances.
Home remodeling is a big one. A lot of people take out debt to do this, but it's important to plan ahead and budget ahead for it. Retirement is another one. Employers do provide some sort of retirement package, but it's always good to budget to have extra. Boosting your credit score does involve budgeting to a degree. You don't want to be late on your payments or have too high of utilization. A wedding or a honeymoon is another big one. If you're getting married, normally have a honeymoon, so make sure you're not only budgeting for one, you're doing it for both. Becoming debt-free is a very, very common one. The sense of freedom you get from that is so rewarding, but it does take a budget to be able to get to that point. And saving for your children's college is another big one. Everyone wants to make sure they're setting up their child for success.
Speaking of goals, can you share one of your financial goals that you're currently working on?
Yeah, actually, we have a baby on the way. So that means we have a lot of expenses that are going to come up pretty soon for us. We car seats and baby food and formula, clothing, hospital bills. It's a lot to financially prepare for. So we have a budget in place to make sure we're doing it right. It also doesn't stop when the child is born. We want to start saving for their future as well. Children are expensive and parents want to provide as much as they can to set them up for that future success. Our budget helps us make sure that what we're doing today will help them for tomorrow. What about you? What's one of your goals?
Well, I commend you on your ability to save in advance. I, about 3 years ago, personally became debt-free. I grew my emergency fund and I purchased a condo. Those were huge goals that I'm really proud of accomplishing. But at this point, I want to have a little bit more fun and I want to enjoy life more. So my current goal is to build in a space within my budget that allows me to save for vacations. I want to start going on a cruise every year. This year I went to Mexico in February and I had a blast.
That is fantastic that you hit those goals. but you had to start somewhere. And one question that I hear all the time is, I'd like to do a budget, but I just don't know where to start. And don't worry, anyone can do this. The first step, and it might be a little painful, but is to go through your purchases in the last 2-3 months. This is a crucial step in creating your budget. What we think we spend is not always what we actually do end up spending. Next, you want to write down your monthly expenses that you have to pay each month, like rent and utilities, loan payments. Focus on the things that you have to pay, but remember that budgets are fluid and typically they're going to change from each month. After that, you're going to want to jot down your income that you're going to expect for the month. Compare this number to the monthly expenses that you wrote down earlier. Do you have money left over? If so, how much? If you're under budget, use this money for your goals. Put it in a savings account. Just because it's there doesn't mean you have to spend it. And if you're over budget, put the personal expenses into 3 categories: needs, wants, and then another one for I don't know.
Speaking of wants versus needs, it can be easy in the moment to think of everything as a need. It's on sale, I need it. Or I need this because I might use it someday. Think kitchen gadgets. In reality, many of those needs are really wants. Let me go through some of these examples with you. So multiple stream services such as Hulu, Netflix, etc. Dining out at restaurants, spontaneous road trips or vacations, electronics such as iPhones and whatever new TV is out, monthly subscriptions or memberships like to the gym, and gifts. These are things that people can live without, even if it might feel like in the short term that we are missing out. Gifts tend to be an especially tough one for people, as we have so many holidays and we all feel the pressure to make sure that we're buying a good gift for someone. The trick is to build these into the budgets in advance so they aren't last minute surprises. Now let me give you an example of some true needs. Groceries. You've got to eat to be healthy. It's number one. And then rent or mortgage, utilities, car insurance, healthcare, medication. Those are things that you really don't want to live without. And so it's important to start thinking about those wants versus needs. There's also some ways to create more space in the budget. Some tips would be to cut down on wants to ensure needs are covered, such as Starbucks or your favorite coffee spot. Maybe cut that down to once a week if you tend to go daily. Pause or cancel subscriptions. If you have Hulu and Netflix, maybe you alternate between the two. Watch as much as you want on Hulu, cancel it temporarily, go reactivate your Netflix, watch what you need, and then switch. That could, instead of paying 2 subscriptions and barely using one of them, this would break that down to just one. Picking up food instead of using a delivery service. I know in the last few years, we've gotten used to using Grubhub and Uber Eats, but it can be very expensive. A little bit of gas would actually save you from the delivery and miscellaneous fees and the tip. Plus, delivery service is typically upcharged for food items, so if you purchase it directly through the restaurant, you could actually continue to save money. Also, creating a grocery list and sticking to it. Shopping aimlessly can create false needs that could wait until that you could wait, or if you don't need it. Sticking to the list helps you stay on budget. Also, get a plan if you have debt. You can use the snowball or avalanche method to pay down bills. Ensure that all bills are paid and that you're making progress on your debt.
So as you're making these purchases, one thing I hear all the time is how much people love their cashback credit card. Now, these are great, and people use them all the time, but they are something you have to be careful with. I have friends who are more than willing to put anything on their cashback card because they'll say, well, they're paying me to use it. And the table down below is going to show you if the credit card company is paying you or if you're paying them. In the top half of the table, it's a 1% cashback card. On the bottom half, it's a 2% cashback card. In the far left column, you'll see purchases of $100, $300, and $500. And then the yellow boxes, you're going to see how much rewards you would get for each of those purchases. Grabbed a 20.55% interest rate from the internet, which was one of the averages for a cashback rewards card last year. And the right of that column, all those columns are how much interest you're going to have on that purchase over 1 month, 3, 6, and 12. Now, if these boxes are red at all, that means that the interest that you accrued over that time period is actually more expensive than the cash back that you earned. So in the top half, if you have 1 month of interest on any of those purchases, $100, $300, or $500, you're actually going to pay the credit card company more than they're going to pay you. In a 2%, that 1 month is slightly below the 2% cashback reward that they're going to pay you. But as soon as you hit 2 to 3 months, you're now paying the credit card company. I love showing this table to my friends, showing them that, yes, they might be giving you a reward, but if you're not paying off your balance right away, you're actually going to be paying them for that purchase. So one good rule of thumb is it's okay to have these type of credit cards, but if you're going to use it, make sure that you're able to pay it off. For me personally, if I'm not able to pay it off, I'm not putting it on the credit card because I'm going to be paying them. Now Morgan will provide additional apps and tools for budgeting.
Absolutely. So here are some apps and sites that can be very beneficial. From the apps, we have Mint, Good Budget, Honeydew, which is for couples, Every Dollar, and You Need a Budget. All of these offer the ability to track your budget and set goals. The format and style will be different, and so really it's just about your personal preference. Some of them will link to your account, and as transactions post, they will show up on the app, or on other ones, you may have to manually enter your transactions. Usually the ones that link to an account require a monthly or annual fee, but they all have a free basic version. Looking over at the sites, I always recommend checking out your credit union site, or if you're not with a credit union, you can locate a local one to use. There's usually financial literacy content that's absolutely free. If you aren't able to locate it easily on the site, I recommend that you just give them a call and they can walk you through finding the content, or they can provide you with the link. Another site is Debt Free Charts. It's a really fun site that allows you to print out pages to color while you pay down your debt or hit goals. Imagine an image like a credit card or a racetrack. You fill the boxes with dollar amounts that will total up to your goal. You color them as you put funds on the goal or pay down debt. The last one I did was in the shape of a house, and I used it to keep me motivated to pay down, to save for my down payment. And then there's also Ramsey Solutions and Bankrate, which both offer many resources such as interest rates, articles, and tons of calculators for mortgage and retirement. So these are great tools for you to use. This concludes part 3 of Cascadia chapter of Credit Union's Financial Literacy series. We hope you enjoyed budgeting basics. Email cascadiachapter@gmail.com if you would like a copy of our resource guide. And for our last episode on May 17th, we are sharing a beginner's course on taking out a loan and the various parts of lending.